So they're at it again, and Texas is taking steps to pass one of the worst bans that will put them right up there with the most restrictive states in America when it comes to the good herb. But at the same time, they want to expand their medical program to make it more accessible for more folks. But is this even a suitable compromise? A lot of folks do not think so.
The plan lawmakers passed to ban THC products faces intense opposition.
Old people, veterans, sick people, regular people who need help for sleep are all going to become criminals.
The lieutenant governor mounts his own campaign to back the ban.
This is to save an entire generation of being hooked on drugs. And I need for y'all to take this story seriously.
We look at what's at stake, with the ban now in the hands of the governor. Lawmakers advanced the bill to ban consumable products with hemp-derived THC. Now, it's up to Governor Greg Abbott to decide whether the bill becomes law. As opponents push for a veto, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick made a high-profile call to support the ban. On Tuesday, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick called a news conference saying he'd provide snacks and drinks, but he said they weren't meant to consume.
So this is everything you can buy at a smoke shop and a vape shop that will either cause potentially paranoia, schizophrenia, tremendous health issues for you.
The lieutenant governor taking aim at the media, saying Texans need to see more reporting on the dangers of THC.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now this is something that we reported on just last week. As soon as this news broke, we reported on it. So make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel. But Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has a bee in his bonnet about this issue, and he's made it his personal mission to get this ban passed. Now this proposed ban could affect thousands, tens of thousands of people, from farmers to people who work at dispos to people who work at shops, all the way up to CEOs and business owners. And we're going to hear what they have to say in a bit. But as of right now, the bill is on Governor Abbott's desk and he may or may not sign it into law. And that's led to a lot of people to plea and issue calls to Governor Abbott to veto that bill. Now what I found pretty crazy is that Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick called a press conference to invite the media and have them look at all these products, from edibles to gummies to drinks, and also try to allege that THC causes a lot of problems when it comes to health issues. But where's all the alcohol? Where's the bottles of scotch and whiskey, wine and Johnny Walker? Don't forget about the champagne. You need to have that in there too, as well as the vodka. That doesn't even have a taste. And those alcoholic beverages cause much more destruction than a lot of these products. But let's hear what he has to say.
The lieutenant governor taking aim at the media, saying Texans need to see more reporting on the dangers of THC.
The young man who was 22, who stepped in front of a train after he ate some of this junk, he wasn't a kid, he was an adult.
Patrick held up a bag of THC cereal bites before tossing it in the direction of reporters.
What are you, crazy? You want to go home and eat a bag of this tonight? See if you're here tomorrow?
Austin-based consumable hemp company Hometown Hero makes the snacks that Patrick singled out. They pushed back on his claims that people don't know what's in their products.
Flip it around and look at the ingredients, QR code, look at the test results. It's all there.
So you guys hear the types of reefer madness propaganda that Lieutenant Dan Patrick is pushing. It's absolutely crazy. And I actually did a little bit of research into that claim that he just made.
The young man who was 22, who stepped in front of a train after he ate some of this junk, he wasn't a kid, he was an adult.
Now, I personally don't recall hearing that story, so I decided to do a little bit of research to see if I can find that story and find out what actually happened. And in my research, there seems to be no credible story about this. I cannot find any reports, I cannot find any news articles, I can't find any credible sources of information that confirm Lieutenant Dan Patrick's story. In fact, according to the AI overview, there's no direct evidence linking these gummies to a specific incident of someone stepping in front of a train. So if you guys are aware of that incident or that story, please drop it in the comments so that I can find out more about it. Now, the last time that we discussed this issue, we heard Lieutenant Dan Patrick say that these products are killing the kids, and he used the kids as a reason to push a lot of these bans. But in fact, the only thing that he is killing is the key sector of Texas's agriculture industry. And according to this, a lot of farmers are not happy about this ban. Throw the lowlives in jail if you want to stop the bad actors. Don't take it out on the agricultural producers. 6 years ago, Texas lawmakers opened the door to a new lifeline for farmers, growing hemp. Farmers invested time, money, and land into growing the drought-resistant crop and developing the state's budding hemp industry. The same lawmakers are now slamming the door shut. All products containing any THC will soon be banned in Texas. As a result, farmers are bracing for impact as they wait to go out of business. So as of right now, a lot of these legal businesses are bracing for the absolute worst, even though their business is federally legal.
A bill that could shut down Texas's multi-billion-dollar hemp industry is now awaiting Governor Greg Abbott's signature. Senate Bill 3 passed in the Senate late last night after minor changes from the Texas House. 6 News reporter Sydney Walker spoke with a local business who may have to close their doors. Sydney.
Yeah, Bailey, the looming THC ban would ban all products containing any amount of THC, a drastic change from current laws allowing products with up to 0.3%. Many hemp industry business owners, like Syntex CBD's Judy Corrigan, are already bracing themselves for defeat.
I have a tiny 0.5% chance of hope that the governor will veto it, but I think that it's already decided.
Judy Corrigan, founder of Syntex CBD, does not have a background in retail at all.
I did it because I saw what these products could do for people.
Now, she's on the verge of losing her business.
Oh, we'll be closed. We'll have to close down.
She testified in front of the Senate and in front of the House, bringing up the livelihood of her employees.
I have employees who have benefits, that they're no longer going to have a job.
She was hopeful the House would listen to testimonies and go through with their modified version of the bill, which was not a full ban.
Yeah, then at the last minute they didn't.
She says the biggest thing that bothers her is the uncertainty for her customers.
My heart hurts for my customers who we worked with sometimes we work with them for a year to find the right thing for them. And all of that's going to be gone.
Corrigan agrees there should be more regulations, but believes stores like hers are unfairly being grouped alongside irresponsible sellers.
There is a risk, as with any substance. You want to keep Tylenol out of the hands of children.
And that right there is a fantastic point, guys. Don't punish everyone for the actions of a few bad actors. That's really not the way to go about things. But instead, everyone's going to suffer, and a lot of people who need those products are now not going to be able to get those products.
A looming law banning THC products in Texas could ruin a multi-billion-dollar hemp industry.
And tonight, the bill is on the governor's desk waiting for his signature. Meantime tonight, KENS 5 reporter Megan Reyna has a plea from local farmers.
So this is a production facility that can take CBD isolate and turn it into Delta 8, Delta 9, all these different molecules.
Austin Ruppel is the founder of Texas Pure Labs. This is where his team makes THC products, an industry he first got into for CBD back in 2012. But 6 years ago, he helped lobby for the farm bill that made this a reality in Texas, growing hemp. These crops are in Bergheim, east of Boerne.
We help share that it's not a scary thing if people understand what it is and how to use it properly.
But now Ruppel is having to rework his entire business model with the looming ban on THC products, a push by lawmakers who argue the hemp industry exploited a loophole in a farm bill. But Ruppel says these lawmakers have always been aware of what hemp could create.
Nut science hasn't changed in these molecules and how these plants work.
You're going to knock out 8,500 businesses. You're going to cost 53,000 jobs. We're going to lose over $200 million in tax revenue.
Jeff Dicker works alongside Ruppel. He says lawmakers should have been regulating from the start.
You can't get taxes from the black market. We pay a lot of taxes.
Now hemp farmers may consider ditching the crop altogether, which Dicker says is a shame since it helps save several farms across the state. But the Texas Agricultural Commissioner Sid Miller said in his statement Friday that the bill is, quote, a targeted effort to crack down on abuse of THC in the retail sector, not a ban on legitimate hemp farming.
So you guys know how lawmakers are. They like to spin things, make it sound like they're doing it for the good of the people, but really they got a secret agenda and probably are getting kickbacks from other industries. Who knows? And just a quick reminder, guys, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club or just buy us a cup of coffee. Now, you guys would have just heard in that clip, there are a lot of people who are going to be put out of business, a lot of farmers, a lot of companies, a lot of employers, and a lot of employees. But also, the state's going to lose out on a lot of tax revenue, and all that tax revenue is just going to go to the black market, other states nearby, or also the cartels.
This bill is insane. This legislature legalized hemp 6 years ago. But instead of regulating this booming industry in our state, we are now going backwards to the days of prohibition. This bill is not going to stop Texans from smoking weed or eating edibles just because a bunch of politicians in Austin tell them not to. Texans will still use THC, but instead of getting it safely from a local small business, they'll now get it from the black market, from the drug cartels. This ban is a gift to the cartels. We are now telling full-grown adults how to live their lives. This is the nanny state at its worst. This is big government. We are now about to throw Texans in jail for seeking relief that's safer than alcohol and less addictive than tobacco. Instead of fully funding schools, expanding access to health care, lowering costs of childcare, this legislature is focused on banning a product that gives people a little peace. Texans use THC to lessen anxiety. Seniors use it to manage chronic pain. Our veterans use it to treat PTSD. With this ban, we are now making people's lives harder, not easier.
So you guys can see there are countless benefits that tons of people get, no matter your age, no matter your gender, your religion, none of that stuff. A lot of people get benefit and relief from these products. And before you guys go crazy in the comments, oh, it's Republicans or Democrats, it's about none of that. All lawmakers are all about power, control, and money. That's the fact of it. Now, these lawmakers do want to expand the medical program over in Texas, and they say that's a bit of a trade-off for what they're trying to do. But before we get into that, check this out. This is the Texas AG Commissioner Sid Miller, who says that the ban will not impact the hemp industry much because the state's focus is on biomass hemp.
Is one step closer to becoming law. Is there concern that this will impact the Texas hemp growing industry, and if so, how?
It really is not going to have much effect on the industry because we don't grow that much CBD, THC hemp. We've way overproduced that. So the industry is changing to get away from that type of hemp and going to biomass or industrial hemp. And that's huge. We're going to plant probably 20 or 30,000 acres of that this time. And that product, it doesn't have THC in it, or very minute amounts, and it's made into building products. It's made into canvas, upholstery, ropes, building blocks, things like that. And that's, the shift is made there. So to get the word out to our farmers, this bill does not affect you. They're ready to plant right now out around Lubbock and Wichita Falls. So if you're ready to plant biomass hemp, go for it. This bill does not affect you.
Well, that's good news for them.
And that sort of got me wondering, a lot of those products that they can make for rope, hemp, cloth, that type of stuff, how is that going to benefit people who need it for pain management or PTSD? It's probably not. And some of you guys may be wondering, well, what the hell is biomass hemp? And according to this, hemp biomass refers to the non-flowering parts of the plant, such as the stalk, leaves, and the root system. While it's often considered a byproduct, hemp biomass is rich in cellulose and can be used for various applications such as textiles, paper, building materials, and even biofuels. So yes, we all knew that those parts of the plant have a lot of benefits, but we're speaking specifically of the medical benefits that a lot of people use from these products and they obtain relief from. So while it may sound like a great headline that the AG Commissioner says the THC ban will not impact the biomass hemp industry, it seems to me that a lot of people are not necessarily concerned with the biomass industry as much as they are concerned with the regular industry. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Now, as I said earlier, the Texas lawmakers are considering expanding the medical program over in Texas, and this bill has actually reached the governor's desk. So on the governor's desk presently, there's one bill that's going to ban everything, but there's also one bill that's going to expand the medical program. Now, when it comes to expanding the medical program, what this bill is going to do is expand the state's list of medical conditions that actually qualify you for that program, and those will now include chronic pain, traumatic brain injury, Crohn's disease, and other inflammatory bowel diseases, while also allowing end-of-life patients in palliative or hospice care to use the good herb. Now, this bill will also allow medical patients a wider range of products, including patches, lotions, suppositories, approved inhalers, nebulizers, and even vaping devices. Now, there was a bit of back and forth when it comes to expanding the medical program, and it seems that the Texas House and the Texas Senate were not really aligned with how far they should expand this program.
There's another bill related to THC that the Senate is considering right now.
Right, Quita. The other bill is called HB 46. It draws a difference between regulated and unregulated, right? So while lawmakers voted to ban unregulated THC, which, as you said, the governor still has to sign, expanding the state's regulated medical marijuana program is still a possibility. One that Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick says he plans to do through HB 46.
It's absolutely necessary.
Since the 2023 88th legislative session, Texas Compassionate Use Program advocates have been trying to get lawmakers to expand medical marijuana to include patients who have chronic pain. In the latest session, the Senate Committee on State Affairs cut chronic pain from HB 46.
It's been a roller coaster for the Texas population watching these bills come and go.
On Sunday, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick posted on social media a deal is in the works to add chronic pain as a qualifying condition for medical marijuana, writing he's keeping veterans in mind. Family and palliative care physician Matthew Brimberry says this could help the 3 to 12 million Texans dealing with this type of pain, and it could be a step before prescribing opioids.
What we find with when you're able to bring cannabis into a state's programs, if people are on chronic opioid use, they reduce the amount of opioids that they're taking.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick also wrote that the bill would expand dispensary licenses from 3 to 12 in Texas, increase dosage, and the form the medication can be taken, like vaporization, so it can kick in faster. It would also add what they call satellite locations in each public health region, so more people have access.
It's something that the program has needed for more than 4 years.
Lieutenant Dan Patrick says he has the veterans in mind when he's actually trying to expand the medical program, and I just find that really interesting because a lot of veterans showed up to testify against your THC ban, Lieutenant Dan Patrick, and a lot of them said, please don't ban, we're begging you not to ban it.
Mr. Chairman, don't take something away from us that works. And that's all hemp-derived consumables.
News conference today, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and other lawmakers stressed that with the passing of SB 3, they are expanding the Texas Compassionate Use Program as another option. The VFW told me that's not enough.
All members voted.
After long nights of debate between lawmakers, Senate Bill 3, banning the sale of THC products, is headed to Governor Greg Abbott's desk. However, the fight is not over. Veterans are now lobbying for the governor to veto the bill.
A blanket ban here is going to be pretty devastating to our community.
Mitch Fuller is the national and state legislative chairman for the Texas VFW. He says veterans testified in front of lawmakers about how these products have been a positive alternative to opioids and alcohol.
One of the points that we made is a lot of us choose hemp-derived consumables because they're more affordable, accessible, and they're effective in a lot of our cases.
Senate Bill 3 was a top priority of Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. During a news conference on Wednesday, Patrick emphasized the importance of the bill and demonstrated it with products that he says contain THC.
But nothing is more important than stopping a kid getting a hold of this junk.
Patrick, along with other lawmakers, acknowledged that there are some helpful products, and another bill was passed to expand the Texas Compassionate Use Program, which provides for medical marijuana in limited situations. Fuller says the VFW was happy to see the program expanded, but they want both options.
This is about letting veterans choose what works best for them.
Since the bill passed through both the Senate and House, it moves to the governor's desk. A spokesperson for Governor Abbott told Fox 4 Wednesday, Governor Abbott will thoughtfully review any legislation sent to his desk. But Patrick says he's not worried.
I pass bills, the governor signs or vetoes them. I know the governor, I know where his heart is, and I know where he wants to be to protect children and adults.
Meanwhile, Fuller has a meeting set up with the governor's team on Thursday. All he wants is for them to hear him out.
We're combat veterans. We've been in rough environments. We've been knocked down, but we're not going to quit fighting.
So guys, personally, I think this story is truly remarkable. It's crazy to see the amount of people that want the governor to veto this, the amount of people that want this ban to not be passed, but because of Lieutenant Dan Patrick's personal insistence, he's making it his personal mission to get this bill passed. So let me know what you guys think about all that. Drop it in the comments down below. I really am interested to find out where you guys lie on this issue. Do you guys think expanding the medical program is a good compromise for banning all other THC products, or not at all? Now, you guys may have missed this, but we actually dropped a video breaking down some of the reefer madness lies that Lieutenant Dan Patrick and some of his cronies are pushing. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out because it's coming up right now.